Hello and welcome to 7 Days of Halloween. Hi everyone, it's Monica and welcome back to Taylor-Made Cards for You. Well, today we're going to be creating a bookmark, and it's funny how your inspiration for something just kind of comes about, because I did not start out creating this bookmark. In fact, I started creating these little altered slides that I did last year, and it just kind of morphed into this bookmark, which I think came out really great. Now, if you are interested in knowing how to make these actual altered slides, I do have a video out there that I did last Halloween, I want to say, so I'll make sure that I put that link out there. And if for any reason I forget to put the link, just remind me and I'll add it. But today, like I said, what I want to do is I want to show you how I put together this bookmark. And it is themed for Halloween, but you can certainly do it for any occasion, I would think. And the way that I did these bookmarks was using, again, these altered slides. And these are things that I find in estate sales for the most part. These are pictures of people's families and trips and whatnot. And a lot of people don't use slides anymore, so they end up in thrift stores or in estate sales. And I like to grab them because I like to craft with them. And I used the sticker set from the Tim Holtz sticker book from last year. But I think if you also have the paper, you can use these as well, because I believe, yeah, these would work fine as well. Now, my inspiration came from these photo booth images. And as you can see, it's about the same size, a little bit thinner than my bookmark, but this was kind of the inspiration I got. And as you can see, the pictures on these photo booth images are a little bit too big for this, so you're gonna have to use smaller pictures, of course. So let me go ahead and show you how easy it was to create this little bookmark, and it could be something fun that you give to maybe your kids or a friend for the Halloween season. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the lenses, or the, what are these, I guess the film strips out of your transparencies, so that way you have an open hole where you can put the picture. And these transparencies are not all the same. As you can see, this one has more of a horizontal line and this one's more of a square line. And for the images that I'm working with, you definitely have to go with the square ones for the image to work. Otherwise, it just, I mean, I guess you could still do that, right? But the stickers that I'm using aren't this wide, so you'd have a hard time. And to me, I think that it kind of cuts off her body a little bit too much. You really want to have it a little bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and work with the ones that are actual squares. So let me make sure I have those. And I know I have four. I had four. What did I do with them? But yeah, we're going to be working with the ones that are square. Okay, so once you have all of your slides, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to just want to get some glue and glue them to your backing. Now, I want this to be the back of my bookmark, so I'm going to turn it over and glue it down. And then I like to have this part showing, which is this red here. We're going to add some distress ink to it, but I like to have this as the front. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're going to glue down your slides. So when you are gluing your slides, you want to try to make them as tight as possible. And what I mean by that is make sure that you butt them up together. Okay, and we're going to do 3 slides here. I think that's the perfect size for a bookmark. And I'm going to just make sure this is real tight here and lined up. And then we'll put this 3rd slide. And now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set it aside and let it dry, because you don't want to start working with it when they are not dry. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this aside, let these dry, and then we will come back and start putting this together. Okay, so I went ahead and I trimmed off the excess paper, and I find that an X-Acto knife works great. The Tim Holtz multimedia mat is perfect for your X-Acto knife because it is tempered glass. You're able to cut really easily with it. And then while I had my my mat out, I also took out the inside part of my slides. And if you cut them correctly, they come out pretty well. All right, so just trim this up a bit. I shouldn't be doing it on my wood because I'm going to cut it up, but that's okay. Just want to trim it up just a little bit more. So that way when my photos go in there, you'll see the whole face. All right, and then once you've got it all trimmed, I like to take just a sanding block and sand off the excess. And this gets it really close to the edge rather than cutting it. I just find sanding it works really well. And then I can just come in and cover up the white part with my distress ink. Okay, now the distress ink that I'm going to use is I'm going to use Vintage Photo, and then for the edge I'm going to use Walnut Stain. So I'm just going to go ahead and get some ink on. And cover it up. And then I'll do the walnut stain after I've got everything secure. So that will be my final touch. All right. Okay. Now you're going to see when you have this together, it is still a little flimsy, but we're going to take care of that. And what I like to do is I used this tape that came out a couple years ago maybe. To put on the sides. If you don't have this, you can also use washi tape, but you're probably going to want to put something because you're going to want to tie all three slides together. And then what I did also, I almost forgot, I wanted to make sure that this would stick nicely, so I did add some glue just to make sure that it wouldn't move on me. And now we can go ahead and add this. Now if it moves a little bit, don't worry about that because once the glue dries, it will stick. Movement I think is a good thing because you can get it lined up exactly where you want it. Right. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Just making sure it's lined up straight. And then I can go ahead and cut off the excess. All right. Now, the one thing that I did on this one, as you can see, I put these also on the top and the bottom. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I haven't decided yet. I may just use one of these little words So I'm going to hold off on that for just a minute. But as you can see, just by adding this tape, it does secure it up just a little bit more. And then now we're going to go ahead and add our photos. And like I said, the photos that I used were from my last year's set, but I think Tim is coming out and adding the little guys in his new sticker set this year. So be sure to check that out, because I think he said he was going to do that. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and just use my old sticker book, making sure this is lined up nicely. Still not completely happy with this cutting here. Just cut a little bit more. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to be able to show as much as my character as possible. All right. My goodness. Doesn't have to be perfect, Monica. All right, so just add in a little tape to the background, and I just realized I added the photos first last time, so we're gonna have to recover this, but no big deal. How funny. Okay. So don't do what I just did. Add your photos first, then add your backing. We're going to just have to add the backing again. So no big deal. And I'm going to add my woman in the middle. Man, and then we'll add the final little character here. I can't believe I changed up my steps. And that's the thing. Typically, when I am making these series, I try to test out my project or come up with my creations, you know, first. So I have a initial project that I create, and then I kind of recreate it when I'm on screen. And I should have just stuck to my process, but sometimes when I make something for the first time and then I go and I recreate it again, I tend to take shortcuts, and I need to be careful of that, because then you end up doing steps out of order, which is what I did here. But no big deal, we're just going to recover it. All right, so I've got my characters, and because of my mistake, we're gonna recover this, and it's not a big deal. It's just gonna make it that much more secure. All right, so let's go ahead and add our glue again. All right, and so even I make mistakes in crafting. I don't sweat it. It's not that big of a deal to me, because I can just usually I can fix my mistakes, and if I can't, it's just paper and throw it away and I can start over. So it's not that big of a deal to me. All right, so we're gonna have to let this dry again, and as you can see, my back is now covered. I did that on purpose. I showed you what not to do, and if you do make a mistake, don't sweat it. You can always fix it. So we're gonna let this dry, and I can still work on it while it's dry because I have everything pretty much set together. The next thing I want to do is I want to add my little words here. And where did I put that? Let's see. Okay, so let's see what stickers we're going to put here. It's got to be a small word or sentence because I don't have a lot of room. So we'll do this chartered. And again, add a little bit of glue just to make sure it sticks. I mean, typically these are created to go on paper. But we've added ink, and you know, we have a few things going on here, so let's just make sure that we adhere these little stickers so they'll stay. Alright, so I guess I've decided not to put these labels on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and go with these little stickers, which is fine. I think I like the thin ones. The spinster, that's a good one. This guy looks like a spinster. Okay. And we'll put that one right on top. See, the thin ones enable you to still see the words on the slide, which is what I like. Let's see. It has to be thin and not too long. Should not take this long to figure out a frame. And a natural voice. Why not? And then for these, you could go a little bit thicker because you're going to want to cover your crease, but I'm just kind of sticking with the thin ones, but you would have room to go a little bit thicker. For love and death. A little too thick. Let's see. In utter despair. Remember the tail. This is a bookmark, so that seems appropriate. Right, remember the tail. Right, that looks good. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and cut this out, and then we'll finish it off. Okay, now it's funny how sometimes mistakes turn out to be a good thing, because now that I'm feeling this with the double backing, it's a little bit heavier and I think it's a little bit sturdier. So if you do decide to double back it, it's really not a bad thing. And I think actually if I make any more of these, I might do that because it just really seems to be holding. It's a little bit more substantial and it's holding better. So sometimes these unexpected mistakes actually work out for the best. All right, so let's go ahead and edge this up because remember we used our sander. So we want to cover up all of that white that was showing. And I'm going to do it on both sides. Just as a finishing touch. As Tim says, it's all in the details. And then, of course, at this point, you can decide what kind of charm you want to use, or if you want to even use a charm at all. I know that there's lots of charms out there, so you can decide. And I'll let you decide what you prefer. Do you like the one where the labels are on the bookmark, or do you like just the little sentences or the little statements? So leave me some comments. Let me know which one you prefer. And let me know what you think of this project. Like I said, I just kind of stumbled onto this when I was playing, and sometimes when you're playing, you can come up with ideas. So don't be afraid to play. Don't be afraid to just pull out your supplies and start working with them, and the inspiration will come. So as always, I'll leave a list of all the products that I've used to create these, along with the links to the stores. And if you've enjoyed my video, I'd sure appreciate a thumbs up. Now remember, this is a 7-day series, so I'll be back tomorrow with another Halloween inspiration, and I hope you join me. All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.